here. Looks like the live is working. Hopefully everybody can see what's going on here. Good morning, good morning. If you're on the Tradecaster, I accidentally left the stream live overnight, so switch over to the new. If you just hit the refresh button, it'll probably show you the new stream. All right, yeah, we're good there. Cool. So we had a huge melt off yesterday. I anticipated, so I get off my stream at 11 a.m. every day. I trade from 8:30 a.m. to 11. So we were looking at here. I'll go to the 30-minute real quick for you. If we look at this chart from yesterday, leading into yesterday, we'll go right there. We had a slow grind up off of our key 18,172 level that I continue to mention, right? We slow ground up. We opened on the high here, just shy of 60. I was waiting to see if 60 would get tagged so I could short that on the open. Didn't quite get there. The open melted off. We weren't able to catch that. We'll go down to the 5 so you can see a little bit clearer what I'm looking at as far as yesterday's move, right? You got a really nice setup there. It just didn't quite get that last little wick off manipulation that I like to see before I short, especially on the open. Pushed down into that 172 level. We caught a short through 77 here, a little piece of that. And then we just kind of ended up thinking that we were going to be pretty flat for the rest of the day. And honestly, I mean, all signs pointed to this holding. The only thing that we really got was the Israeli minister, or whatever his name is. He said that he was going to retaliate to Iran for the drone and missile strikes, and he was going to come in with full force. So that could be the real main catalyst for this big sell-off. Once we get through these main key levels, 72, 18,000, we are running into the bottom end of this short-term downtrend channel. And our key level here at 17,829 and a quarter. So I'm watching this level. I'm going to see if this is going to end up setting up for a further dump, if we're going to melt through that 17,829 level, or are we going to catch a little bit of a bounce and rotate ourselves back up to that 18,000 level. If we look at Market Watch today, we'll check it out real quick. Pullbacks suppress the stock market emission. Gains follow strategic. 10-year Treasury yield hits fresh 5-month high as IMF projects sharply stronger U.S. growth. IMF projects stronger U.S. growth. Best hedge against inflation. Nothing crazy. The calendar today is Tuesday. Buildings permits came out lower than anticipated, so shows not any new, real big growth in the new housing sector, right? Building permits, or maybe not new housing, but building in general. So forecast was 1.5, missed it. So maybe get a little bit of a bounce there on that. Let's see, I was on the wrong screen there. Going over to trading economics, right? That's what I was looking at there, the building permits. You do have Fed Powell. I know somebody was mentioning it yesterday that Powell was going to speak on Wednesday. He just so happened to pop in randomly today here at 12:15. So all eyes will be on that at 12:15. And we're about to open. So let's just see. We got our levels laid out here, playing our previous day highs, previous day lows, overnight low. And we're going to be mindful of that 830 level right here, which is the previous, just below the previous day's low. Okay, I'm going to just pop on so I don't have silence in the background for myself. My little trade the world. Okay, so we're open. We're pushing down into that low. Not quite at the overnight low. We are below VWAP. So that's an interesting part of this, right? Yesterday we were mentioning about the VWAP being sort of just a guide to keep us in or out, not necessarily an entry criteria, but a guide to keep us in or out of a trade, right? Now I'm going to be watching our delta. You can see a pretty decent delta push here to the downside. We're on the micros here. I want to go to back to the full NQ. Okay, Russell is pushing downside, pretty clean break through the low. S&P's tried to wick the low and bounced off of 5,103. So 5103 and a quarter, still acting strong. ES opening range here, pretty wide. It's about, let's call that 110 ticks. Maybe you get a crack to the upside here, but like a bounce off of our key level of 830 is what I'm looking for here. Get some sort of setup, a flush down into 30, diverge, but you are, going to watch and see. Maybe we'll be patient, see if there's a break of the overnight high. Look for something like this. Maybe a push back down into it, then to go long. That would push us back up. Probably if we could get into 936 and back up to 18,000 would be like a target for that, right? Alrighty. All right. S&P's holding VWAP and NQ trying its best. Microsoft pushed up into 414 and failed, 414.92, and tried to selling off some. This below us is that 412 zone that I watch. Apple pushed below 171. So yesterday's sell-off put us right back down into here. Nvidia holding above 863, which is relatively strong to how the market kind of in general is. Let's see if Nvidia can hold up if it breaks through this pre-market high, which it just did. So Nvidia breaks through pre-market high. If it holds that and rotates up to 877, you kind of get a better idea of how this might. Oh, I'm on this drawing tool. This NQ might follow up. So these two yellow lines are the overnight levels for S&Ps. And then obviously my normal levels on the NQ here, you can see, are color-coded and labeled. So if you're over on YouTube, check out that tradecaster.com link in the chat and also in the bio. We're going to try and get as many people over to tradecaster.com as possible and build out that community. As we get bigger and better, we're going to do giveaways once a week. First starting with 50. We already gave away a free month of Tradecaster once we hit 25, and today we're right above that number again. So if we could look to get over that 50 hump, we're going to end up looking to give away some coffee swag, maybe some mugs, some coffee, some shirts, and then potentially look to try and give away some more memberships, give away cash accounts. I'm working on partnering with people to try and do a lot of giveaways and really make this a community that just gives back, right, and provides value to everybody. But if you're going to be a part of that, be a part of it over on Tradecaster. We're trying to grow that to be the best community around because, we had our meetup on Friday, and we had some great people come by, really creating friendships and family over just trading buddies, right? So have somebody here keep you accountable. That'll be me. Overall, really, we're just kind of sitting here on VWAP, so I'm kind of just talking through it, keeping myself out of this little choppy opening range. Price still needs to digest sort of what happened yesterday. That's what I mentioned. The title of this YouTube video, every day I do a little quick title of the stream. Today's stream title is The Big Melt Yesterday is Today a Digestion Day, right? It could be a reversion day or a continuation day. I say that it is likely to be a digestion day, maybe stay range bound between the overnight levels, but also if you start to break and hold below previous day levels, then that continuation through these levels is kind of more likely. And then we have some real downside still left in the tank for the NQ and the S&Ps. Obviously, everything could always go to zero, but I'm talking realistically, in a healthy market environment, kind of what we're in. We are, this is a healthy market environment. A good pullback like this gives you more opportunity to get any sort of good levels. But if we do break through this 829, I think down into 17.478, That's the next real key level. That kind of brings us back to the base of the rally since February. So February kind of started the rally to the upside, and then now we are kind of continuing the downtrend that we started come the all-time high around March 21st. So we're kind of downtrending. We've expanded that downtrend range, but still kind of continuing it. If we do bounce here and rotate back up to 18,000, there is still that downtrend intact, right? So could bounce, but also it might not need to bounce. It might have just caught some liquidity already, and it's going to just melt through that 830 level and rotate down. So that's what we're looking to do. I say good morning to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a really good day yesterday. If you were able to catch some of that, I'm proud of you. For me, I took one trade during my stream. Could have took a couple pretty good ones. Really just want to add some stuff to the playbook that I was notating, and then be a little aggressive on that opening trade. But today I knew it was not going to be that same type of trade, so I wasn't going to be that aggressive on that move, right? We didn't open near the overnight low, or really near the overnight high. If you open on VWAP, you got to wait until this market picks a direction, pick somewhere to go, and then make your decision from there. Currently, you got a 50-50 tilt, 60-40 on NASDAQ. S&P's just broke through VWAP, looking to push downside a little bit, maybe accept down into here, but there's support down here at 50.95. We have our previous day low here in the NQ looking to get tagged. Kind of sat on it a few times. If we can crack through the low and hold, then the rotation to at least the overnight low comes in probably quickly, and then you got to watch what happens at an overnight low. We are down below that trend line as well that I had. That still acted as some. There's some reaction at that level still. This whole downtrend channel part that I have going on, so I'll keep it there for now. We got our short squeeze espresso to get our day going. It's a beautiful, smooth espresso blend that we offer here at Day Trading Coffee Co. If you want to grab yourself a bag, we got whole beans, ground beans delivered right to your door, freshly roasted on order. So head over to daytradingcoffeeco.com. It'll be in the alerts. I'll pop it in there. And if you're so feeling frisky, use my username, Policing Pips, for 15% off. Well, we're here to trade today, and we're going to see what we can get going. You got that bounce off that previous day low. I do want to see what Delta is looking like. We flushed that opening range low here, trying to push back up into VWAP right there. Delta is kind of giving you that added confidence that it is pushing up higher. It's not necessarily diverging a ton. Russell held the opening range low, and it's just sitting there, not really doing much. Looks like it wants to kind of crack and move, but the S&P's broke through this support level that we did not quite break through as deep. Right, this was that level there, still kind of holding near that level right now, right? And now we're above it. So this could have been a manipulation here down at the previous day low, holding it. I am going to be patient for the overnight high, though. If I'm going to make any executions, it's probably going to be what I said there, a break through it, a failure, and then maybe try to return through that 920 level, try to enter above 920 and take this thing back to the upside. And I said first target potentially being the base of that, 950. Which is not a huge move, 950, 960, up into 18,000. But you can see S&P's rolling. Be patient after a day like yesterday. Opportunities will come. You don't need to force in anything. Like I am going to price in this little sell-off into here. I'm just going to call this just good resistance, good selling point, but I'm going to call it potentially the Israeli attack. It could have all just been technical, really. I mean, It reacted all around the key levels. That's one thing that I was mentioning to a few people over at the Tradecaster meetup was the how I price stuff into my charts on TradingView. So my TradingView charts, this is what I trade on here is Top Step X. This is Top Step's proprietary platform that they have developed with, I guess it's SIMD Funded Solutions or something like whatever. They coded it out and they use TradingView charts. My actual TradingView that I pay for, that I have, my membership to, that I chart out everything on, I price things into it. That'll be this chart here that I switch over to when you do see it. I was talking to a few members that, like I said, they came out to the meetup, and how, a lot of times people will draw up levels or they'll make zones and they don't really know why they drew those zones up. And there's a really easy way to do it. I mean, if you want to do arrows or just text boxes, or if you draw up a zone or a line, every piece of every drawing tool within the TradingView system allows you to add text. So if you wanted to just say, draw an arrow here, I'm just going to put it here, and you double click on it or go up to that box, you have a text box area, right? You can type in whatever you want and it'll just populate right and be attached to that arrow. So that arrow will always have the words attached to it, like this one here and this one there. And that just helps me if I'm looking back and I'm understanding, okay, what happened last time with the NFP? NFP last time beat by 300,000 as opposed to 200,000, right? So that beat made markets do X. And this is what happened last time when we had that beat. This is the level we were at. Oh, we're at a similar level. And if prices beat, maybe we do the same thing because it's based on that reaction, right? So you can go back and just read through some of these priced in things. And then if you get something that's antithesis to what you had the previous time, then you can give yourself a better decision on what you might want to do with, moving forward. NVIDIA just broke through the high again, and now it seems to have some strength on that, right? I don't want to buy my NASDAQ quite yet, but this NVIDIA showing this strength does give me a little bit of hope that this market wants to get bought back up as much. But the S&P is pushing down a little heavier than the NQ is. I'm sure Apple is, it's caught a little bit of a bid. Microsoft also above that 414.92. You can see these two large wicks here potentially looking to grab some liquidity and move back down below that 414. And then if we rotate back to 412, then this market kind of goes. And it seems like it's trying to get heavy as well right now. I don't have any setups right now, but I will be watching this previous day low, because if we can get a break and a hold below it, then I say we kind of rotate to the overnight low. Based on the Microsoft trying to break back down through 414, I could take this short here through the previous day low if it goes, and then rotate us back down to the overnight low. I am going to take that shot. If it wants to go, it's going to go here. The 830 level, like I said, is kind of a key level, that 29.25. If it's going to bounce from here, then we're fine with that. But you're starting to see Delta is heavier. If we could get through this overnight low, this opening range low, that's 46. That's that level that I'm looking to short. But you can see Delta kind of ticking up a little bit here. If we do break above VWAP and above the opening range, then you could potentially look for that long as well. So I'm on both ends of it, right? Seeing which way it wants to go. But that's a good hold of that previous day low. If it holds it again, rotates back up, overnight high is going to be interesting to go along. But I'm going to try and shoot my shot short here if it does want to go through this level and hold and give us a nice flush again. So that's what we're looking for here. I have that short stop sell in there. I'm going to look to see if we can catch a nice quick move. Microsoft could be helping us out here downside. NVIDIA. Just trying to time it a little bit better. Alrighty. Oh, I hate when I do that. We got the alert going off. The alert's going off here. If it's going to go, I'm risking 230 on it. If we can break and hold below here, this is the key level for me. I think that we flush. If we do flush, this is where we're going to go. If not, if it's going to bounce, it'll probably bounce pretty hard. But I want to see this flush down to the overnight low. There we go. Got that breakdown a little bit. I'm only going to risk above that previous day low and see if we could get a little bit of a runner on here. I'll go to break even at 1 to 1, and we'll see what happens now. I'll turn off the alert so I don't have you getting alarms in your ears. All right, every time I do that, it kind of bounces around. Should I pull it back? Nah, I'm going to leave it here. If it stops me out at break even, it is what it is. That was a nice little push down to the downside. We're going to let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. That was a whippy action to the upside. Hopefully it can push down now. Give us some heaviness. Give us some heaviness and go now. Go now. It's got to go here. Got to go here. Come on now. Get heavy. Sometimes you got to encourage it to go. But it's going to stop me out. We're even. Okay. Broke even there at $17.20. Big time win. That lack of a flush gives me... Now it's going to go. I move my stop. I probably should have left it over that previous day low. So I'm going to just notate that. I've been talking through it. That would have probably been the better spot. But I'm going to give that short there. See if it ends up stopping me out. And I'm good anyway. Alrighty. I'm just going to throw that. I'm not sure if I trust this move to the downside without that follow through. You know, Delta did push. We are coming into that standard deviation away from VWAP, but S&P's is pretty heavy. So this probably, look, if I could get it up above again and fail it one more time, right? Get up above that previous day low, maybe stop out the people who left their stop just above there, and then look to catch that short one more time. That 30 level, 29, I should say, 29, 25, acted as some good resistance. So if we can get up a little bit more, close above that level, and then fail it one more time, I should look to get it back into a short here or look to short through 30. That would be my plan here to get that real continuation through to the downside. Getting back up into that area there. I want to see if it'll get up in there and fail. I want it to hold that, though. You know, get above here, hold there, and then give me a failure. NVIDIA is trying to reclaim that 863.74. I'm going to hold off on the re-entry for a minute. If we can get below this 30, then maybe it'll go. But that was a pretty big support level. I'm glad I got out for break even, obviously, because I would have been stopped out for a little bit of a loss. So pretty good there. There's that move. Good stuff, Ray. Had a baby. I love it. I love it when people catch stuff right before I talk about it. All right, so there's that push upside. If we break through this low now again, I'm going to have this sell out just in case it does decide to have that hard melt. But I do believe that might have been the liquidity sweep to push us back higher. You know, a lot of times if we're holding that previous day low, we're getting back into the opening range, right? We're in that opening range, but we are still below VWAP. So if we can hold below VWAP, maybe people get in there. You know, we do have this overhead resistance a bit right there. Okay, so you have that overhead resistance, could act as an important key level, but S&P's was pretty heavy, got right down to the low. Russell as well is well below that opening range low. So we're going to watch the S&Ps. If the S&Ps can go first, then we might cheat this entry before that. But if it starts to rotate back up, we may get a continuation. Like I said, I didn't trust that move. You know, once you get that dancing around, That's why I go to break even so quickly. People wonder, oh, you go to break even or whatever. That would have been a full loss on a trade that I was up 1-1 on, right? I could have took my money and ran and took that 1-1, but then you don't get that full pull to overnight low, right? If I thought, hey, if this trade is going to play out, it's going to play out previous day low to overnight low and clean up those levels. Obviously, that was not the case. Our 17,829 level pretty much acted as pure resistance there. I mean, as support. So we're going to wait and see what happens with that. We trade coffee cups for one for the other. I'm an obvious coffee addict, right? I start the trading session with a nice espresso every day. Then I move on to my Scalper's Delight Dark Roast blend here. Sitting up a cool $17.20 on a break-even trade there. Pretty happy with that break-even, honestly. I mean, we were up 1-1. We were trying to let the trade flush on us, give us a nice little move. This is going to get canceled. I don't want that order out there. And we're going to watch, see if we can get this to do stuff around our levels come when they get there. I don't want to have that order out there and then things kind of get a little wonky, start to manipulate. I don't want to be involved. So you are rejecting that level, that that opening range high. Could be that level right there that's pretty important. So we're going to watch it. We might want to get that flush off of there. Since we're at VWAP, I'm not looking for anything to enter at the second. I do think it is a nice area of resistance from that trend line that's acting as that overhead resistance, right? I drew it up on the other chart. It's right here. You can see it in your face. We reclaimed the bottom end of the downtrend that was acting as resistance. We broke through it, came down, swept to that 17,829. And then now we're looking to either hold above that trend at the, let's say, we'll call it the 866 level. So right here, right where we're at, basically VWAP. You hold above that and rotate higher. You could break through and get up into that 18,000. If you don't hold this level and you don't rotate through that overnight high, then potentially fail that low. But as I mentioned, is today a digestion day? Digestion day. Could be a day where we do get a lot of this manipulative action around these areas, and the fades could be the play. NVIDIA is catching a bit of a bid again, but getting knocked back down at the high. Microsoft at 414.92 acting as resistance. Having a hard time getting through it, really. Apple broke through 173, so it's pushing upside. And NVIDIA is also pushing upside. So that divergence that I normally am talking about with Apple and NVIDIA is not there right now. They're acting in conjunction to the upside. So potentially watch this for a little bit of an upside move. I mentioned we don't have very much information. Bank of America and Morgan Stanley post their first quarter earnings. Let's see what they have to say. Continue to close branches and cut jobs. They cut 650 jobs. Investment banking revenue up 16%. Bank of America has been riding a roller coaster. Morgan Stanley rises after profit and revenue beat estimate. So banking doing okay, but cutting jobs, which is interesting. So they'll do good, but they cut jobs. So we're going to go here. We're going to text this out. We're going to go trade one. Short at, what was our average price? Was 17,837 and a quarter. And we got out for even. I'm going to put this here. Call it break even at $20. And then the coordinates of that were 836 and a quarter. Alrighty. So that's what we're looking at here. I mean, really around this VWAP, I don't have a level here. I'm in between no man's land, right? I just mentioned that 66 level, pretty much VWAP is the level that I'm watching. I don't have a longer term level here, so I am going to just not look to execute till we get around. Like I said, again, another attempt to break through the previous day low. I'll take that short again, or potentially look for a divergence. And then obviously if we crack through that overnight high, like I mentioned, we crack through it, kind of dip below it, and then look to run back through that 920 level, see if that 920 level acts as resistance, and then can break through maybe the second go around. An immediate crack through it, I'm not going to take the first break. I would look to fade it potentially on a delta divergence. Like right now, you're getting a really nice delta after that break of this trend line. That is a good entry if you play just pure trend line breaks. What's up, Proby? How we doing? I've been all right. I'm just out here executing what I see at my levels and staying out of the middle. This obviously broke through to the upside, but that's not something that I'm playing around VWAP right now. Especially it's not around any of my key levels, so I'm just kind of sitting on my hands right here, right now. Hopefully you're doing all right today, Spy. I like that move. I want to see it get, if we are going to push upside, we're going to want to see that break of that overnight high and then a little bit of a setup. Either I do not trade stocks or equities at all. I'm pretty much purely a futures trader at this point. I do watch the Mag 7 names because they help me out, but I have not taken a look at DJT. I could look at it though. Let's see. DJT dumping. DJT has been not doing so hot. What did it open? The high of it was 79. And we're currently at 24. So that's really not great for DJT. To get back long, I mean, $18, 16, $20. Or even right here below us at 22.89. Yeah, I mean that's a really heavy name here, and it's also I don't know. It's not that it's a bad company or anything. It's not established. There's not a ton of information on it. He just turned it into that recently, so they just recently changed the name. They're launching a streaming platform. Really, it's all kind of just speculative on what they expect him to do, or all that stuff. It's all going to be based off of his name, right? So that's kind of an interesting factor. We are starting to approach our overnight high level here, so I am going to start. It's if you can go in kind of heavy on it with a little bit of understanding that you might risk everything. Look for either go to zero or to the moon kind of play, because at that price point it's not terrible. $20, $20 something dollars. You can get yourself a couple shares of that and really risk it to the 0 point and not feel like terrible about it. I would guess if it did, I don't think it would go to zero, right? Like if you're betting that he's going to do well, then you may get a good pump on it. Apple failing through that 173 level. So potentially looking to kind of hold us down a little. NVIDIA looking to break up through 877. And Microsoft was breaking as well. Microsoft right into resistance at 416.57. So currently at 46. If it does get back above that, I do see this overnight high. Like I said, 18,000 would be a nice little target. If we did do something around the overnight high where we kind of broke above it, failed it, kind of came back into it and broke back out. So that's where I would look for that. That's where that breakout play for me comes in. I am also looking for I'm looking for the fade of the overnight high, but if we never get there, I can't. All right, what's this? I'll look at that later. I'm not working. He is Donald J. Oh, spilling coffee everywhere. Here you go. Give me a second. I'm out of. Gotta get some napkins. myself a little bit here. Good thing my keyboard was over there. No, I banged into it. I flail my hands. I talk like an Italian. You know, my bad. I'm looking to clean up this little bit of a mess I got going on.
Just want to wake up everybody.
Yeah, I gotta make sure everybody's ready to go here. Alrighty, back to the action. Oh, there we go. A little bit more. Okay, we're good. You can take this cup. No, I'm good. We're good. All right. The wife came in, helped it out. So, yeah, we are watching this overnight high level. I'm not going to diddle in the middle here. I'm going to wait. You know, you can see a lot of this. It reacted once, twice. Let's see. And then yesterday, that was a key level. I mean, it really was a zone that we kind of rejected up into, like I said, that 40 to 50 level was kind of important. So, like I said, it's going to be hard to say if there's going to be follow through that consolidation. But we're going to watch it. We're going to be mindful of it. We still are holding S&Ps below that 5-minute VWAP, right? So we're below that 5-minute VWAP. What is it looking like on the 1? So I can see that divergence a bit. I had it on 5 just for cleanliness on the overnight. But I do like, we are dead center between the overnight range. S&P hasn't gone anywhere today. Yeah, pretty much sitting just below the opening range. And we are looking to push up. This delta is pretty much acting same as price. So you're not getting a divergence quite yet on the delta, right? You can see price trying to make new highs, delta trying to make new highs. You're seeing that speed up. You're trying to get above that level. Let's see what's going to happen there. Looks like that's going to act as some sort of buying point, or could that be the manipulation to start to sell? But it's just not quite at my level yet. Like, this is the kind of setup I like to see at the high, right? I want to see it get through the high, manipulate me through a level, or even through like one of my longer term key levels. That's really where I want to see this thing kind of rotate, push through, give me some, like I said, I like to trade the manipulations on the NQ. This is kind of manipulative, right? You can see it tried to push up, failed it, and now it's rotating back downside. I do like that move. That's kind of one of my this is my setup, but I need it to be at the level, right? It's like a lower high. I don't know what you would consider. I don't play the naming candlestick setups. You know, people have all these names for this. I just noticed that this happens, and markets like to sell off of that. Or if it happens on the bottom, we buy off of that, right? Right here, we're just too close to VWAP, too close to, you know, this breakout point. We're still above VWAP. I don't have any entries here. This is not something that I'm going to do just because it sets up. I'm not going to just enter it because it's not at a level that I like to use. When I've started using my levels exclusively, I've kept myself out of a whole lot of trouble. You know, and I'm going to go and document this on stream so I have it as something I can look back on. I worked till about 2 a.m. last night. Didn't get home to bed until 3-ish or so, you know, and then woke up, got my son to school, came on stream. So, you know, we're not fully in full rest mode, but we are good enough and good to go. We got our coffee. We're fully fueled. We took our one shot at the breakdown of the previous day low to look to get to the overnight low. If we got to the overnight low and got the same setup, we were potentially looking to go long back to the VWAP, try and clean this up and rotate. It just never got down that way. So the setup kind of came in here and started running up, but it was still too close to that VWAP area for me to say, all right, we're going to mean revert back. So just with the heaviness and all that, I just didn't have the conviction on this to just buy it up. I knew that if I got back above that previous day low, that's why I wanted to have my stop just above there. Something like this may occur. So that's why I'm pretty quick with my stop. You know, like I said, hindsight being 2020, could I have left my stop just above the previous day low the way the candles were acting? Yes, I could have, but really without that follow through right away, you know, being up 1-to-1, going to break even for me is fine. I wasn't going to trail it too tight, right? I didn't want to get even like up in there and, you know, take that couple, you know, points because I did anticipate potentially getting that full push down to the overnight low. So I didn't quite want to get tight on it to get that 1-to-1 at least, because you need to get down through it and hold, so then you can go to that 1-to-1, right? It wasn't like a fast enough move. You got to manipulate it there at 29, which was my key level. So we do have a good liquidity grab there. If you are looking for longs, right? We're going here. You can see this wick. That was right where we were when I was talking about that short, right? That 30-minute wick right on a key level. We're back above this downtrend, the base of this downtrend. The bottom end of these candles was that 66 level I was talking about. If you can break above that overnight high, I do think a potential rotation back up to that 18,000, because it doesn't give you a huge, retracement, maybe a little less than 50% of that move from yesterday. So, and it also kind of runs you right into that resistance and that other key level that I have just above that 18,027. I kind of saw this coming yesterday with that little bit of a head and shoulders type deal. Like I said, I don't really play like that setup game, but it looks good. Clean break. I just was not on stream at that point. Once we got that big flush, it was done. So, yep, that's what we're looking at here. If we do crack down below that previous day low, clean up this wick, then potentially that rotation, like I said, we're down to 17,092 is that 97 is the previous day low, and then down into these doldrums, right? There's not a ton of resistance here. There was a big rally up. 17,700 maybe could be that next point below, but it feels like it wants to bounce a little bit. So I think we're kind of, like I said, in a digestion day. We are looking to see if price will stay within this range or if it's going to break out and go somewhere else. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily have any sort of setup quite yet. This is just kind of wait and see, let things play out. We have one execution here for break even. Microsoft's holding that 416.50. Nvidia looking to break above 877. It's pushing up into it, so watch that. And then obviously, if it does get above there, I'm looking at 883 as that next level above. I wanted to see this kind of setup up at the overnight high. This one would have been a nice little short, caught a little piece of it. Probably would have got a little bit deeper into the retracement if it was up a bit higher. But since we're so close to VWAP, you don't really get a ton of really great moves. You're starting to see maybe shoulder, head, maybe you get back up into here and you bounce. And then the next, like I said, I think the second touch through the overnight high gives us the opportunity for a long. And then, like I said, now if we start to get heavy and start to get through that overnight low again, I don't see it holding the second time around either. So these are the two scenarios. Overnight high break, either fade it if it gives you that divergence setup, or look for that fake out kind of coming down here. I'm not going to even take the short the second touch. I'm going to look for that continuation first, and then the secondary move would be that fade of that high. What's up? Breaking my balls, bro. 50-50 for that yearly VWAP. Yeah, it's not far off. Not far off. Like, it is heavy. Yesterday we moved a ton. The S&P was leading us downside, but right now we are getting back above VWAP. So everything is kind of holding above VWAP. Nvidia trying to break through key levels. The NASDAQ kind of looking like it wants to bounce a bit. Like I said, I think maybe if we get through this overnight high and give us that setup where maybe that's that second, like a failure of it, and then a secondary breakthrough, that 20 level could give us the follow through, pushing us up into 18,027 level before we fail and rotate back down again to that level where we were talking about. And then the opposite end, if we get back down through VWAP and through previous day low, things are going to get heavy. I think if you break through that previous day low, it's going to come with some volume, and you're going to at least get to the overnight low, and then we'll see from there if we can crack. But I think another touch of this gives you kind of a flush of the low of the day. And I'll take a short from there and trail it. But we're just not at the level yet, right? So we're trying to keep ourselves out of trades that are a lower probability for me. My winning percentage currently on this account is 88% or somewhere around there, maybe a little bit. We'll go over here. I'll show you the transparency on this Top Step account. If it'll ever load, I'll just let this kind of play here, and then if it loads, I'll pop it up. All right, there we are. There our equity curve. We're at 89% winning percentage here since April 1st. Currently, our average win is 230 and our average loss is 227. Realistically, though, our only losing day was right there. So everything else has been a dub. We're looking to just kind of consistently build this profit curve up and to the right. And you can see we have met all objectives to take a payout. I'm just not going to take the payout quite yet. I want this balance to be up over 2,000 before I consider taking the payout. Not that it's just building that buffer, building the ability. Now I'm allowed to trade 3 contracts. You start being allowed to trade 2. I literally only trade 1 until I get above that $2,000 buffer, because then now I can say, all right, now I have a full buffer, still have a full buffer. I can maybe risk a touch more on each trade, or if I'm not going to risk more, I'm adding contracts and holding a bit longer. But these setups currently aren't really giving me a ton of follow through, except for yesterday, right? Yesterday gave you that follow through to add and add and add if you really were that type of trader. But for me, it's just being patient, letting that whole thing come in and give me that buffer, then start to add, and start to add. Yeah, that's kind of why I trade the 1 minute, bro, because I use the 30-minute levels. I use the hourly, daily, obviously, all that stuff. But I have the 30-minute chart up on the screen, elsewhere on the screen. And I use those 30-minute levels and some of the breaks of some key, 30-minute candles. But for the most part, the 1 minute for me, I'm not able, especially with prop, right, or with these funding companies, anything where you're trading futures and you can't hold overnight. Everything that happens after market closes is irrelevant to me, right, until the next day when I can trade it again. So I need short-term outlook, right? I need to be able to see what I could do today. What can I do now? Where are my levels that are going to help me on a intraday basis? So I base it all off of previous day levels and then longer term outlook of some other levels, right? So if we can rotate this through here, I do think that we can get like I think we'll get a little wick here. It's an 80% long. So maybe that wick of the high may give us that failure to rotate down. I like a fade of the retail currently, but it is we're just shy of that overnight high. I would like to maybe whip that overnight high, get this heavy long tilt, take a quick short on it, and then look to see if it'll rotate through for the long. Do both. Do we have a delta divergence? No. Delta is pushing up through highs. Price just broke highs. Don't know if I trust that as a divergence there. Back through 900. I need to wait. Just going to be patient. Both S&P and NASDAQ are heavy long on their tilts, both over 80% on the tilt, which kind of says that if they're both acting in the same direction, it's probably likely to continue on a little bit, especially with the delta not diverging very much, right? You're just pushing up, making new highs in delta, even higher than that previous high there. So it looks like it wants to break out here above this level with new buyers stepping in just ahead of it, right? Buyers are stepping in just ahead of that pre-market overnight high. So there's that break. So we're going to watch this break, see if we get a failure, if we get any sort of, divergence here. The same kind of setup that I saw here, that little bit of a lower high. Or if we're going to get down through it, fail it, right? We're going to close here, come back down. And then I said the second breakthrough, 20, is what I want to take long. And this will be also based on that 30-minute, right? I know it's a 1 minute here, but We got right down to my support at 29, 17.829. Literally right on it, on the money. Closed above it, held above, rotated off of that there, and now kind of pushing back up. You got that long wick on the 30-minute. We're holding above a lot of things. I said it's bullish over VWAP. I want to get back down, fail the overnight high here, and then I want to break through again. That's my goal right here. I want to fail it, get down maybe into even the base here, and then if it breaks it a second time, I want volume, and I want to be able to take a break that continues on a little bit better than what we got here, right? But I also like to fade this overnight high, so that's my conundrum at the moment. Nvidia breaking out, Microsoft holding above, Apple rotating downside. Okay, let's see if we can get that set up. Yeah, I believe that we do get a good push. The Delta kind of ripped right through. Price is now pushing back down below that overnight low. If we can get another push up, overnight high. Now this is where I said I want that. That was the setup I was looking to catch. So if it does it, we're going to go for it. I talked about it. It's 74% long. I don't like that tilt on it. I really don't. I like the short opportunities usually off of that level. IMF mentioned something about avoiding premature easing. So right at my overnight high, that potentially could give us some catalyst to move us downside. I'm going to get rid of this real quick, I think. Yeah, that's going away. I don't like that comment by the IMF giving any confidence to a breakout now. Could be that failure. Nvidia failing 877. So could we get back above that level? 70% long. Still, S&P's looking to get back to VWAP, sitting right on top of it. Just got to be patient here. I got to let this thing set up on me. I can't just take that first breakout. Obviously, that's why I usually fade those breakouts, because that's what happens to me if I try to play that break of those levels. That's exactly what goes on, right? Breakout, failure. Right here, breakdown, failure. So we were just trying to take a quick short on that to the overnight levels, but Russell looking to catch a bit above the opening range high. Let's see if it could break and hold. S&P is still middle of the opening range, and NQ, as you can see here, above opening range. Do we get this push through here now this time? I said a break above 22. Above 20 gives us a push. But if Nvidia fails this high, that 877, then it could be an ugly rollover. Let's see what Microsoft's doing. Microsoft holding above 416.50. Let's see. We'll give this a shot. I'm going to give the plan a shot. I drew it up. I said if we get above that 20, we fail it, and then we hold, and then we break above the 20 level. Still above VWAP, still got the ability to continue up to at least 50. If we get up above this high, we're going to be quick with our break even again, because like I said, the failures of these breakouts tend to happen for me. So we're filled in here. Risking that to the low of that level there, that 911. If this is going to be my delta divergence type setup, then I'm going to be stopped out kind of quick. But I want to see if this will break and hold. If it wants to run up hard fast, I'll take it. I'm going to front run 18,000 though. 980. It's going to stop me out. There's my... I'm stopped on that. Looking at a delta divergence, potentially look to rotate to the short side now. Below 900. Took that quick short, took the L on it. We're going to look to see if we could get another either break above it, or we're going to start to, because we got some size, 15 lots at 920. If we get back above it, we'll try the long. If we could hold this level here, we'll take the short. I'll take that short. I'm not afraid to flip it around on it. That would be the ultimate goal if it does melt off. There's that 1-to-1. I want to see if I can let it get down closer to the VWAP before I move this. Yeah, I'm not going to take the chance. I'm going to go to break even, see what happens. If we can get the melt off here, cover our loss, and then potentially look to get to the low of the day on the failure from this high. Don't be afraid to flip around. My setups are fluid. I do like to give the opportunity on both ends. I wanted to try to play the breakout. I do like that breakout play there on the way things were getting some strength. But Microsoft, everything is kind of getting heavy again. S&P's is back below VWAP, so I'm hoping that the NQ can follow through, back down through VWAP. If we can get through here a little bit further, I'll go to that 1-to-1, right? I'll get to where we're at. Currently, I'll move my stops to just above this candle here, right there. But I needed to get it heavier, faster, right? I think the lows come in if we can get through here. There we go. Pushing. Being a little patient on this. If it moves fast, I trail fast. If it moves a little slower, I trail a little slower. That's the name of the game in my trailing plan here. So if we can get a little bit lower here, then I'm going to move this, but I'm going to go candle to candle. I just was above that one. I'm going to go to 90 there. Looking to see if this will flush through here. You got to give it a little bit of space. Give it a little room to flush. If it doesn't want to flush, then you're going to take your money and run and move on to the next trade. It's just refusing to push through here. And we're going to get stopped out right there. We are stopped. Took a quick little win there. Still down 143 on the day. Could look for one more good setup. Could have kind of left it there, left it alone, but I don't like the ability for this thing to rip right back off us. So I'm going to let it get back down below VWAP, see what happens at that previous day low. If we do get closer to that, it would be nice to have left that short and catch that move, but based on the way we're acting right now, it might not be ready to go. It's 9:24, so 5 minutes till we are an hour into the market. The market should be giving you some sort of indication of where it wants to go soon. Normally I'm waiting about an hour to enter my first trade. We're going to say we took the L there. I want to put this here. We took a loss on that. I'm going to do... Not really, it's too tight of a area for me to put this. So I'm going to enter it above. I'll say we went long here, so we'll just do that. Text, trade 2. Long at, what did we do that? We were long at 17,922. Three-quarters. And then we took a loss on it. We took that L. Then we came right back and got a W. Quick little W. The loss on that was 910. You can see why I'm quick with my trails, right? Or with my my stops being a little tight, because when you're wrong here, then look at this rotation downside. Then when I'm wrong here, who knows what happens with this push back up. You know, if we do get a breakdown here and hold, right shoulder, head, shoulder. You could break through. Just too close to VWAP for me to enter on this, or to have held it. I mean, it's just not going fast enough for my liking. We are sitting right on top of that, like I said, that 66, 60 something level there. That's going to kind of act as some resistance. So could have looked for that. We took one quick win there. We'll go with this short here. And it's hard. It kind of gets clustered if you start entering too many times. So I'll just throw that arrow there and then leave it. Overall, looking at down 143, less than one full loss. We took a full loser there, that long attempt, and then took a $90 W, giving ourselves just shy. All we need is one good win, one good trade. See if this VWAP holds here, if we maybe get a rotation back through this overnight high. Once again, we'll try to shoot our shot at it there. If we do get a volume break, we're getting some volume in here at VWAP. See if it's going to hold or not. You did have a little bit of a delta, not making new highs. Gave you that indication that it was going to fail kind of quick. That's my normal short setup, but I got tricked. Could have been just up and done, but nope. We decided to go in on the long side because we talked about that being the plan there. And then Microsoft and NVIDIA were all holding above key levels before that. So, but now we're fading those highs. Apple is now below that 171, looking to break the low of the day. So if Microsoft or NVIDIA can continue to sell off, then the market probably continues to go. Like I said, if we get down to that previous day low again, potentially look to go short through that previous day low to the overnight low, at least. And then from there, if we are looking at the overnight highs, we look to see maybe we'll break the overnight high the second go around here. But as I mentioned too, is a rangy type day potentially. S&P below, NASDAQ above, right? Sitting on top of VWAP, on top of the opening range high. S&P's well below opening range, pushing down below VWAP. Could be just the one divergence here is this NASDAQ, right? So NASDAQ is kind of trailing everything, trying to show some relative strength. If S&P's catches any sort of bounce, then a breakthrough here. If S&Ps get to the overnight low and start to break through that, then maybe this previous day low break gives us a more confidence second go around. Okay, things are starting to sell. Yeah, I think it's wants to be heavy. It wants it, but it's just not going to give you that full follow through on some of these moves. So I'm looking to see. I'm going to get rid of this. I think it's just messy. I will go over all of my trades later. This is that first trade that we went break even on. Second trade, we took that full loss. And then third trade there, we were short, and we got stopped for $90 on that right there at that wick. Could be even at the moment, but I am okay with what we're doing as far as executions are concerned. I would have liked to have shorted the overnight high as my normal play, fading the overnight high back to VWAP. That's my go-to bread and butter, but something told me that this was going to second shot through, break out through that high, so I didn't necessarily go with the normal setup there. So this could be something to be watching for myself to just review. I'm going to switch that to there, review this. This is my A setup there. It's a pleasure having everybody popping in and out of the Tradecaster viewing party here over there on Tradecaster.com. If you're on YouTube, head over to Tradecaster.com. Become a member. 7-day free trial. No skin off your back, and it's made for traders by traders. It's a great community. The more you're a part of the TradeCaster, you know, everyday dealings over there, you're going to start to see that everybody comes in and is helpful to everybody. It's just not just every man for himself, and it's a nice little family. And we do have meetups. We have a lot of education that comes out. There's a lot of education in the lobbies. So, oh, I don't know why that's like that. Yeah, it's still not out of the realm of possibility, right? There is like a double bottom type setup coming in right here. Like we did get a flush of 829 and then a flush of 829 failure. Then you held 829 and now you're rotating high side. That little wick manipulation right here that I just drew that arrow at could just be just that. Could be looking to stop people out down here and now run back up high side. Like it's really just. Yeah, I don't know if it's over, but it's potentially less likely for sure. I do anticipate a lot of this kind of action though on a day after that big move downside. If we were gonna continue down, it's gotta go with some volume. It's gotta go with some heavy pressure. That IMF comment doesn't help, right? If the IMF is encouraging people to central banks to hold rates or keep with the tightened markets, could look to get us to go heavier. Yeah, I mean, you did mention it yesterday, right? That break of that overnight low. You said once we broke my overnight, the previous day low, it was going to flush. I just wasn't on to be able to catch it, but that you called that out for sure. That was a good talk, talking through that idea, right? That previous day low break yesterday was money. Same thing here. This kind of like accumulates. If it gets through this previous day low, like I said, I'm gonna try the short through this first touch through here. Yeah, I always just stay on till 11. A lot of times I'll get myself into trouble after that anyway. Most of the time it's short lived. There's some heaviness coming in. Some larger size just got filled here at that 59 down into 53. 11, 11, 14, 10, 11, 17s. So a decent amount of orders just got filled right there on the sell side. I don't know if they're going to be continuing or if it's going to be pushing pushing back upside. The S&P has yet to touch either end of its overnight session. It's obviously approaching the overnight low here. And if we do get a breakdown of the overnight low on the S&P, then potentially this NQ follows. So I want to take that break of that previous day low into that overnight low. But if this is just going to wick the low of the day like it just did and then rotate back to VWAP, very rotational, and any bid kind of just continues. Should be spicy, absolutely. Absolutely. And, markets, like you said, overbought, very, very, very overbought. Still, even like at the levels we're at, normally we would not be at these levels, especially election year stuff. It's very interesting to see. I almost want to front run this break of the previous day low and short through here, but I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna let my idea play out. Give myself a little bit better of an entry, idea here. Like obviously this is the low of this consolidation. But you can see all that chop there. I don't want to be involved in that chop. Chop City, baby. Below 56, though. Below 56 gives you a little bit. No, they don't. But they're doing everything they can to prop the market up. So, even through all this shit data that's coming out. Diddling in the middle. Okay, well, let's see. It's sitting here. Yeah, it's all manipulated. Everything. I don't trust pretty much anything anymore as far as like stuff that they release to anybody, be it economic data, because then they always just end up like revising it a month or two later. It's like, it's funny, like, oh, it was revised down a ton of points, or it was revised up. Like, they just tell you what they want to happen so they can do what they want with the market. Our job is just to see what's happening and then just kind of react based off of that. This market is obviously rigged to go up, but I want to short this here. Yeah, fuck it. We're going to do it. Stop sell that 56.
Order filled.
Risking to VWAP. And here we go. I know I wanted to wait on ads, but if we could break through that previous day low, I'm adding. Cheated through that. I cheated that entry, and now my actual entry is going to be an add-on here. So I am going to go second contract through this low. I do like the heaviness here. I want to see S&Ps get through their previous the overnight low, so that'll give me some confidence that this wants to push into here, into the overnight low, and then we're gonna try and capitalize on that with an ad. Come on, baby, push through that low. Push through that low. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on now. Up 5. Up 5. Let's go. Come on now. I'm going to even on that. That's even. I want this to flush the low now. Come on, flush that previous day low. I cheated. I added a second contract on that. I'll take one off here if it wants to get there. If it wants to wick me down. Do not come back up. Do not come back up. Do not. Come on now. If you're going to go, go now. Downside. Downside you go. Come on now. Does this ad pay off, or does it give me a break even? Either way, I am free trade with 2 contracts on, looking to see if I can get a first one off down there at 27, and then see if that other one will run down. If not, we're going to get stopped out here on this. Yeah, we're out. Okay. Whoop. All right. Well, still good. I'm happy with that. I took the ad. Could have just left it alone and been up on the day, but I saw some opportunity there. We are going to go short through this stop here on a secondary breakdown of this previous day low, and we're going to look to see if it'll go. I'm sure, see that pop back up, it would have been out at even, would have been able to trail that out, but I think if we can get through this previous day low here, again, we can get through my level of 30. Hot damn, that was a nice little bounce off that previous day low. That was real nice. I like that flush. The ad, I had to do it. I'm cool with the even trade there we got going, but I'm very happy that I decided to pull the trigger on that short there. It was very appealing. It started to get really heavy. S&Ps got to that overnight low. That's why I wanted this thing to kind of follow through. That's why I had the ad there. There's a reason behind my madness at times. The ad through here with the S&Ps leading us downside, getting to that overnight low, tells me that the NQ wants to follow at some point. And Microsoft was getting heavy. NVIDIA, let's see what NVIDIA is doing. NVIDIA also was pushing downside. So everything, all signs pointed to flush of that low, continuing to the overnight low. But we didn't get that. So now we are rotating back to VWAP. Is this just a dead cat kite bounce? Fail VWAP, continue the heaviness. That is what I want to see here. I want to see this thing kind of continue back through downside. This pullback here, if it holds below VWAP, everything is super heavy through here. Even the Delta played out perfectly for an ad on there, right? So for me to have that bias there, I was risking to VWAP originally. I got up you know, up over 1-to-1. Added that second contract. We took a, what was that win? Was I had a $200 win and 135 on the loss on the ad. So technically it counts as a loser, but it's really we ended up making like $90 on it. So we'll see what happens with the short through the previous day low here. That's what I want to see. Through that low, push it down. Push it down. That 29 level, I want to at least see that get tagged. That was going to be interesting that didn't get hit. If it rotates back above VWAP, we're going to do the same thing at the high. Maybe we'll look to fade it, though. I mean, overall, we took that one full loss there. That really should have been looking to go short. I just had that idea of a retracement play based on the way the bottom looked. Right now, we're still holding this previous day low. Kind of just don't want to get through it fully. But if we can, I think this time down through VWAP, hold below VWAP, the next flush through this low could give us a little bit of a move. We took this short here. Obviously, it was I got stopped out. It was 205. I was probably up a bit more than that there. The ad took us out. It is what it is. I like the break of the low, the previous day low, as a continuation type move here. Normally I'm not playing breakouts, but I'm looking to get to my setup at that overnight low. If the S&P leads us down through there, then we got that move. NVIDIA is still selling hard. I think we do have that ability to get this thing to go. I'm not going to add anything here because this is now my it's too low of an entry to add a contract on. So we're going to go with single contract, see if we can get a push through. If we can get through this low of the day, 22, we should make it to the overnight low. So that's where I'll end up looking to go break even. There was the only thing that did come out was the Israeli leader mentioned that they were going to retaliate with Iran with full force. So potentially that could have been just a little bit of news that it needed to break us out of that area. But I don't know what time he said that. So who knows if it was just a delayed reaction or if it was just technical breaks that just kind of led to it. Tradecaster.com. If you're over on YouTube, head over there. It's a great community of traders, for traders, by traders. We are doing meetups, giveaways, providing tons of value, providing a family, a community of traders to keep you accountable. So if you are looking to become a part of a good community, get over there. Click the link in the bio. Awesome seeing people popping in and out of the Tradecaster lobby, talking over into YouTube, building up this stream. We're just trying to provide value here, right? I'm trading NASDAQ futures, but I'm also going through NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, those Mag 7 names that are going to help us out here. You do have a little bit of a bounce here, but if we fail the low, we are holding below VWAP. If we can fail this opening range low, potentially could get that final heaviness that we want to see. Russell is back within the opening range, middle of the opening range as well, and the S&Ps is down on the lows. It held the overnight low, though. That, to me, is going to be kind of informative because we did make a higher low here, right? It's a higher low. I'm going to get rid of this for now. put in a higher low here on these wicks. Yeah, I'll just go with the wicks. One of these is going to follow through. Which way is it going to go? I do, like I said, I did expect today to be a digestion type day. A lot of sideways kind of action, but also yesterday I kind of anticipated the same thing, and we got that huge melt off. After the melt yesterday, I think price does want to try and give a little bit of a continuation in either direction. You know, like I feel like it does want to keep going, at least clean up that overnight low. There's got to be some people who are in the market during market session that also believe that overnight level should get cleaned up, maybe even wicked before it goes long, right? Like if you're a big time market maker or somebody who's looking to get people involved, you want to get them short below that overnight low, right? So that's the reason why I'm trying to front run that overnight low a little bit here and short through the previous day low, right? If we can get through the previous day low and get down into that overnight low, and they can manipulate below that overnight low to get more people short so they can then rotate it back higher. That to me seems like a more likely scenario than it just going and ripping from here, right? Like it just doesn't seem as likely that wants to just go. I thought it would earlier, but now kind of thinking through it, it didn't quite obviously make sense. I should have just stuck to my normal overnight low, overnight high divergence retracement strategy. I have no name for it. I rename it every time I call it out. But yeah, we're down just small, $79. We have taken one real loser, which was I tried to play the long through the 20 level. Didn't quite play out. Obviously melted on us. Kind of took our full loss there. Could have really tightened up over that overnight high when it failed it, but it is what it is. And then we took a couple of just base hits. Not even base hits, like a break even, a base hit. We've taken a few more than we normally do, but they're not bad setups. They're good setups. And I added a contract on this on the other one. So really, if I didn't add, thinking that market was going to get heavy right there, right? You see the volume on that as well. Really good volume on that push. Could have continued on easily down to that overnight low. Just caught that bounce right at the S&P's overnight low. So it's got relative strength. So if the S&Ps decides to get back above VWAP, maybe through the break of the overnight high does happen. You see that pop up right there. A little bit of a head fake kind of maybe. You can see here, kind of got a little grindy action. And then you got that heavy flush through that previous day low. And then he did it again. And each of our lows now have been higher. But if we can get a lower high here, then that breakdown could happen once again. But we are just being patient. It's 9:49. We're doing a good job as far as like executions are concerned, only executing around our levels and giving the entries the best opportunity to kind of just play out on us. And then realistically, the trails have been good because they've kind of kept us out, except for this one here. We could still, that rotation from the breakdown here into VWAP, then using VWAP as a stop. Probably would have got stopped out at VWAP here for that move, but that would have put us back at least even or a little bit up. And then this next flush that we would have took the entry on puts us up. But overall, I think we're doing a good job with our executions and our trails because one more good flush gets us in this and beyond, right? We're going to get some good movement. Being here, being able to execute and not feeling like tilty, right? I don't feel like that loss gave me that tilt feeling. If I start to feel that, I'll just hammer this lockout button. But right now, I'm good on my entries, good on my trails. And I've been having good risk management at the moment. Even with that add, right? If I didn't add there and I just trailed down, would I have been up on the day already? Yes, I would have. But would I have been able to maximize my gain? No, right? We're here to try and maximize our gains as best we can. And that add was just part of my plan. If I'm going to front run my entry, when I get to the entry, if I can get to my actual entry, then I'm going to add again, right? So that's just part of the plan. It doesn't add any risk because I can move my stop, right? It just, if you do pull back, you kind of just lose the gains. But anything beyond that, you're just absolutely banking on with an ad. If you read Best Loser Wins, it's a great book. I recommend it to everybody. It kind of gives you just that other side of trading, that best perspective of, he does a lot of adding. He does, he'll add and add and add as price moves his way. And yeah, maybe he might lose a lot as far as, or maybe break even or whatever, but his winners are well above his losers. And that's the only way you could really exponentially grow in this. For me, I had to build this buffer before I decided to really start to make really just consistent ads. But for now, we are, if I was going to do that, I'll still add here and there below that 2,000 mark. Right now, we are just going to stick with the one contract for the rest of the day, unless I do see like an opportunity where maybe I get this divergence, I shorted it, and we get this little rising wedge type here, trend line break. Maybe you can add on the break of the trend line, then take off one at VWAP. These are the types of things I do when I have the buffer to really maximize my return on it. Microsoft, Nvidia. Need one of these things to start to melt off. We're kind of just sitting in the middle here at VWAP. Apple breaking lows. 168 once again is that low point, that decision point for Apple. If it goes, Apple kind of has a long way down. If you're a long-term investor, it might be time to start catching some buys on that Apple. Just kind of continue to buy as it goes. But cost average your way down and then hold it forever. Because I don't think Apple's disappearing anytime soon. I just think it's in a rough time period. For us, though, it helps kind of drag this market down, get us a little bit heavier. If any of these other names would play along, Microsoft is catching a little bit of a bid here. Nvidia also just kind of grinding a little bit, though. Not so much of a pop, but did catch some support at 868. Microsoft. I'm going to watch Microsoft because it's been kind of leading us today. I don't I don't have anything active currently. You can see our realized P&L here is that little red box. We're down 79. I'll kind of go through this. If you're newer to the stream, we do have the top of the board here showing you I'm going to make sure I'm on the right screen before I do this. Yeah, okay. The top of the screen, this is Top Step X. It's Top Step's proprietary trading platform that they have developed for their funded traders and their combines. I've been using it now for a little while, and I like it a lot. There's a lot of good features. This right here, if you see, it's the gold. It's our funded account. We have two of those. We're trading 50K accounts. This is our current our P&L for the account. So since the beginning of April, including today, we're up 15.29. This MLL is your max loss limit. You cannot have your balance go below that, otherwise you will lose your funded account. I'm going to get rid of this stop market order there. I don't want it just lingering there and forget about it. This red box here is your realized P&L. This will be red if it's down and green if you're up. I have unrealized P&L here, which is $0. If we're in a position, this box will start to move around green and red, whatever it's going to be doing at the time. And then this is your daily loss limit. You have a max drawdown of $1,000 per day before you get locked out. For me personally, that number is more like 500. It's 2 full losers on the day. I try not to take a full loss. We took 1 full loss on this because I wanted to see if that would play out for us. It didn't. So we took the full loss on that. And we've kind of just chipped away here. It took $90. We took $20 over there. And then we took, another $100 here, $90 there. We were pretty much green with this, but I did add a contract on the previous day low, thinking that if we were going to get the follow through on it, I wanted to be heavier in to maximize my gains to that overnight low. So we're just kind of waiting to see if any of these levels are going to kind of come into play. and then we can execute around them as well. Right now, I don't execute around VWAP. One more good trade, and then we'll be done for the day, likely, just depending on how it plays out or what we're seeing going on. Normally, I stream 8:30 to 11 Central Time every day. I mentioned we had a little late night last night working till about 2 a.m. Central, then got home. Didn't get to sleep till later. And then got up, took the kids to school, like the normal routine, have our normal routine going in the morning. So maybe not fully rested, not fully focused on some of these things, but realistically, we have executed pretty well aside from that. Just kind of being transparent with everything that's going on. The more honesty we got, and the better I can go back and review this and say, if I go back and review what happened on this day, what happened on that day, go back and review. Let's say I end the day now down 79. I want to see what did I do on these days that created that break even type day or that losing type day, or on a day that I, maybe if I hit off on a really nice trade, on the break of this previous day low, and I come back in a week or on the weekend and I watch through this, I want to know what my mindset was. I want to know what I did the day before, day of, so I kind of just talk through a lot of what I was doing. Do you think that we're going to get through that? The opening range acting as support. You use longer term opening range, right? Like a 30-minute. I use the 1 minute for the opening range. The upper end of the opening range high is acting as resistance. You do have a little bit of like a quasi head and shoulders. We have higher lows. I think reasonably it might have been even just like, pretty. The opening range high, opening range low for you is in that range there. Yeah, they use 30. I use 1 just because it's digital and it's quick. I kind of just give it a visual. I don't play very much opening range stuff except for that if we open on an overnight low or on an overnight high, if we break the opening range in the direction towards VWAP or towards the other end of the range, then I usually take that direction because I've noticed that it starts a follow through. Did I move that? It's all right. It's not a key level anyway. We're going to go with that. Put that back out there again. If it decides to fail the VWAP. NQ has let us downside. So if NQ can, S&P's has let us downside. The NQ's shown relative strength. So the relative strength there has been showing its face with the NQ here. But the Russell's really mid-range, opening range. S&P's is trying to push lows. I don't really have a ton of movement currently, but that doesn't mean it's not going to pop off. 9:59. I don't execute within 5 minutes of an hourly close. So let's see what happens at this close of this candle. The hourly, the 30-minute. The 30-minute looking like it wants to close below, or I guess even the hourly, closing below this downtrend bottom support. So if we can close below there and get down through that 829 level, I think overnight lows come into play, and then we have to see what happens at the overnight lows, if it's going to reject or if it's going to continue to flush like yesterday. We just get that continue to flush. Microsoft gave a nice little lower high with right at resistance at 416. So if it does continue downside, we could look to flush that 414 level. And if Microsoft gives up 414, then 412 comes in, I think, today again, because that's a key support level, and that kind of just drags this whole thing down as well. We're holding below VWAP, third time's the charm through the previous day low potentially. But now we are starting a new 30-minute candle, a new hourly candle, and trying to hold above that previous one. So let's see if we can get down below. Anybody who trades around VWAP, if you're looking short here, it's not a terrible idea below this 56. Risking up into VWAP. That's why I took that short before. That's where I saw that sellers coming, stepping in right there. We have 220 lots coming in at 861 on the short side. So sellers are stepping in, bigger size a little bit. I haven't seen any really, really heavy size like I did last week where I was seeing those 200, 300 lots, somebody building into like 1,000 lots short. So haven't seen that, but everything that I've seen as far as size is concerned has been on the red side. So I am watching that. Microsoft, NVIDIA looking to rotate down as well. Is Apple holding or not? Apple getting right down into that 169 level, looking like it wants to tag off on that 168 and beyond to the downside. So heaviness is still there. I think we can get this final break of the previous day low. Maybe, like I said, third time's the charm. Let's see if we can get through that previous day low, down to a low overnight low, and then see where we can go from there. That's really, you have to take the shot at it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If not, then you just move on, because realistically, it just seems like the higher probability trade at the moment, right? Lack of follow through on the bounce the last time. We did rotate. We cleaned up the overnight high. So cleaning up the overnight high, rotating down the overnight low, to me is normally a nice little play that will play out on a range bound type day. Either range bound or continuation day, we hit overnight lows, right? Because then in continuation, we break through overnight lows and continue on. So 2 out of 3 scenarios, right? The third scenario would be a retracement back up. Range bound, you would expect overnight highs and overnight lows both to get kind of tagged and cleaned up. Continuation is we're selling, right? So a continuation to the downside would push us to overnight lows, because that's a continuation of break of the overnight lows. The third scenario, and the most unlikely, I guess, would be the full retracement, right? Or not a full retracement, but at least some pullback to the mean reversion. I do expect, even if that is the case, right? If it's the reversion, I still think the overnight low gets taken out, because I think they want to get shorts involved below the overnight low, right? So if they're not, there's 3 or 4 scenarios here. 3 of the 4 involve taking out the overnight low. The 4th scenario, if you're playing your odds, it just goes up and runs from here, right? So we'll see. I am going to go quick 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Orders out there. Still holding that little trend line bounce there. Another higher low, but we're not quite making those higher highs. We have held the downtrend, the bottom end of the downtrend on the longer term, which does allow us that rotation back up. But like I said, I do have a few scenarios here that say that overnight low needs to get taken out. And the only other scenario is if it doesn't want to get taken out, they just rally it up from here. But it doesn't seem like that would make sense with just the previous day low, right? Staying within the previous day's session, inside day on the daily. If we get back to the overnight high again, I may wait for further confirmation to play a breakout, or look to rotate it again one more time to the downside. Get another inside move here, like up into 50, failure, back down through the overnight low. But I would like this to, if we do this based on just bodies, no, it's still not gonna work out. So technically just right there. I'll let that be where it's at. Just I don't want to be involved up in this VWAP area. I still want it to be at a decision point where I can make a choice, limit my risk, and then make a follow through. Microsoft looking like it's wanting to get back above that 416 potentially. If it does, then we may continue on. Nvidia is still a little heavier, and Apple caught a bit of a bounce here at 168.98, but Apple is just doesn't like itself. Nvidia, AMD. Oh my God, today is definitely not an easy day. There were opportunities. Yeah, it seems that way. Like, right, this overnight level probably comes back into play. I'm going to get rid of this order so it's not there. Going to just make sure there's no orders out there. No orders are out there. Okay. Tilt is 76% long. That's getting heavy. Tilt-wise, if we can break through this area here, that flush could be on, but still thinking that that's the more likely scenario. The 30-minute top of the NQ is 17,909. I don't like when I do that. When they're doing their little coursework, don't need that. The tilt information comes directly from Top Step. What they do is they aggregate all of the people who are in combines, and they show what direction they're going, where they're leaning to. And most of the time, I like to fade the tilt when it gets heavy in a direction, because most of the time retail's wrong and they're looking to get burnt. So I like to fade the tilt at my key levels, as well as give myself a delta divergence. It's just kind of like an added confluence for me. But if the tilt is kind of the same on both the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, sometimes they kind of just continue to run on. So you got to just be careful with it. I like it. We are trying to approach a high point here. The value area high is 897. It looks like 897. I mean, if we're going to call it 900, so that could wick 897, 900 for the value area and then fail it. But we do have a good delta here, so it could just continue to push on upside. Let's see. Like I said, this is my personal broker says AMP. I use that. I pay my data there. But this is Top Step. This is a funding company. And that's where we're getting this tilt from. $897 looking like it wants to give it up at that level there. 70% tilt. If this gets up into the overnight high, and this tilt gets into that high 70s, 80s, then that's going to convince me more that the follow through is not on. If retail is going to play a breakout, then potentially we're going to rotate the other way. And not saying that I'm not retail, but that's just, I like to fade the majority. That's my little bit of an edge. Fading majority. And this is why I don't play breakouts. The only loss, really, the only loser I took today was that attempt at a breakout. So my normal strategy plays out. So I had a $20 winner. That one loss right there, which could have been that if you played normal strategy, a $90 winner, and then just about a $90 winner because this was two contracts that were together on an ad and ended up even, basically $90. So took one. How high have you seen that tilt meter go during a trend phase? during trend, it usually stays in that 50 to 60. It'll creep into 70, low 70s for continuation. But usually when it gets tilty, like I'll consider tilty 75% and up, that's when you'll start to see resistance. You'll start to see even reversals, because for some reason at that point, more buyers are starting to pour in, and they're like, we're going to flip this the other way and turn it around. So most of the time, if it gets up into that above 70s, it turns around. And right now, you kind of giving up here at the value area high, 897, right? I mentioned that here was the value area high, 897, came right up into it and failed it. Now the value area low is 17,852. If we're going to just continue to stick around the value area, 52 is here. So we don't have any direction right now, right? VWAP is flat. Price action is flat. What is your thought process on how you're going to execute? Develop some sort of idea, some sort of plan. I use these levels. You can use something else. Try your best to try and develop something that's going to work for you to keep you out of this stuff, right? Because, you might get yourself in trouble. You might be like, all right, I'm going to play a break of this high. And then you play the break of the high and it pulls back and it comes out. And you're like, I'm going to use VWAP as a stop. And it comes back to VWAP. Could this play out? Yeah, sure. Right now it's a little bit more likely than not. But, certain things that you're looking to do that may get you into trouble in the chop session, price is not moving fast, right? There's not a ton of volume here. The volume candle that we tried to play, the break, that was everything there said, hey, this is probably going to continue down, except for S&P's hit off on that overnight low to the tick and bounced. That's only reason this bounced, I'm going to say, that right there. Otherwise, the volume was going to break. You got a break of a key level. There was overnight lows to clean up. There's a lot of order flow down here. The higher low kind of held, and then you moved on, right? But that's the only real opportunity that I saw. And then this volume break of the high, I tried to play the next break of it, and that failed. But obviously, you see no volume came in on that. It was really sell side volume that ended up coming in. And that's my normal short setup, which I didn't end up taking. I took it as a long because of the likelihood of this reverting and giving back some of that gain from yesterday. That short was, in my eyes, a little bit more probable moving forward, right? So, but right now, it's S&P is still heavier than the NASDAQ. S&P is below VWAP, NASDAQ above VWAP. We are just kind of dancing around this middle 17,880 level. The point of control is 17,870. The high end, and that's basically VWAP, and the opening range that I use, opening range high. So we are just kind of in this area where price is deciding where it wants to either go up or down. Russell is above the opening range. So the only thing that's down below the opening range is that S&Ps, which is kind of getting heavy again, trying to sell some. S&Ps holds levels a lot, right? You can see held that. Let's see if it holds this. Let's see if there's any Market Watch live news. All right. Treasury Secretary Yellen says that the U.S. is readying new Iran sanctions. That's going to do a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, it's honestly, like I said, it's probably a digestion day. To be out of this day, either break even or up a little bit, hopefully, would be ideal for me. I'm not going to be opposed to it. You don't see me on Tradecaster. I am policing pips on Tradecaster. I should be in the lobby here. I am top left corner here on the lobbies. If you are over on Tradecaster, if you're on YouTube, American. Thank you, sir. Or I can't see your picture. American. I appreciate you. But yeah, if you are, like I mentioned, if you want to go over to Tradecaster, this is what you're going to be getting. since they brought it up that they don't see me on TradeCaster, I'm going to bring it up here. You got all these people trading live, and then down here you got everybody who's not currently live. These are what the proper rooms that are open, right? Up top, open rooms. Down below, you can still chat, but they're not currently live streaming. You can see we got free rooms, you got paid rooms. If you go over there and use that 7-day free trial, then you will be, excuse me, 7-day free trial. You'll be able to see me. You'll be able to see everybody, even the paid rooms. Once that trial expires, you can see the free rooms. You will not be able to get to the video library. So there's a lot of value to paying and getting your membership. You can make a whole lot of money if you follow along and develop your own strategy, and also utilize the resources that are in TradeCaster. So it pays for itself when it comes down to it. Just if you do like it, I appreciate that though, American, for stopping in on the YouTubes and making a comment. Hopefully I do pop up on the TradeCaster lobbies. Oh, there we go. There you are in there. Appreciate you. So TradeCaster, I was mentioning, since I'm middle of a zone here, between levels, not going to execute anything right this second. TradeCaster is a awesome community. Like I said, we had a meetup this weekend, New York City. Had a great time with a lot of good traders. Picked a lot of people's brains. Got a lot of good information. You got actually some size coming in here at 900. A lot of buy orders coming in, 12, 23 lot got filled, 899. So that all seems like one. The way it got filled, it seems like one bigger order of probably closer to about 100. So just be mindful if that's going to be either filled and rejected, or if it's going to be a continuation play. If somebody's trying to really play a breakthrough here of the value area high, right? The break of the value area high there. You can see that Delta popped up. Could be that big order that got filled there. Still, Delta is below this previous high, but we are not quite there. And you are seeing a little bit of a rejection on that candle, but nothing crazy, nothing that I'm looking to enter in on right now. However, if we do start to get down into this 860 level, and I'm trying to get short through that previous day low, but it's got to get there. And then the overnight high, I'm going to be cautious on it because it may break out and go, but I'm going to fade. Getting back to the TradeCaster lobbies and everything like that. Like I said, it's a ton of really great value that you're going to get over there in TradeCaster. Not just, you're watching me, great, I love it. But we have tons of really good resources, be it Deck, be it AK, be it Mamba, Yeah Buddy, everybody in there, Mo, everybody. Everybody's got something that they can offer you. And if you're bored, or if I'm only trading 8:30 to 11 Central and you want to trade afterwards or learn something, there's somebody always pretty much on here providing some value. And then if you want to do some studying and whatnot, they have video libraries. You can learn to trade, learn to be exactly how you want to be, and take a little bit from everybody. That's the best thing I could give as far as advice is concerned. Do what you want, right? Develop what's your comfort zone. Develop what you work well off of, and then kind of pick something from somebody here, pick something for somebody there, and then utilize the best of everything that you see, and then create your own strategy, right? Like, I don't think a lot of people do what I do as far as like very simplistic, mean reversion type stuff. I'm sure it's out there. I kind of just developed it over time of like how I like to develop my risk parameters and my sizing and where I see that the probabilities are higher, right? So that's where I'm at with developing it. Yeah, JPOW is going to be on at 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 Central. I might be able to get on for that. I'm going to see. I normally stream till 11. I might hop back on for just JPOW's talking. I realistically believe that he's going to come on and say a lot of the same stuff, but also be cautious of the higher for longer rhetoric, because that higher for longer rhetoric will continue this market downside. The algos will react to it. But I don't know if that's quite coming today. Last few times when he spoke on the Hill, markets just went flat and sideways until he was done talking. So could be just a lot of nothing, but it is something to be watching and being mindful of. And also just being mindful of, if you think that manipulation is going to happen, it's a good reason to stay out also, right? That's what I always mention to people. I mention, if you know nothing about what these fundamentals tell you or what they are, providing you, then you could just use that red folder number as just a reason to not be involved in something. Then that at least helps you in that capacity. If you're already in a trade, know that maybe you mitigate your win or your loss, or set yourself up for that algo pump rip manipulation, and then move on. Right? That's really all we can do with that. If you are not really quite ready to understand the depth of what those numbers are telling you. Yeah, the tilt meter, you'll see it. It'll keep like kind of bouncing up and down and around. If I'm going to play the break here, you might get like a heavy tilt initially, and then it flips back to 50-50. I like to see if this breaks the previous day low, I kind of ignore it, especially if it acts in conjunction. And then if I also get a good delta divergence, look, this delta here, this whip acted the same as this whip. So it is possibly just a liquidity grab here. It acts together in unison. If you start to get a heavier tilt, push down, break through VWAP, finally break through this little, support that's been forming, get that S&P to get back down to overnight lows again. I'm saying I got to get through this previous day low. I don't know if I want to cheat on it and break through, play the break again like I did last time. We cheated on the break of the previous day low and then added at the previous day low. That cheat didn't necessarily get me in trouble. It just kind of didn't follow through. Everything about it said you had to do it, so you can't not go with it. And sometimes you just get stopped for it and just move on to the next one. And it's fine, right? Obviously, we got stopped for a small winner on it, and now you're just kind of chopping and rotating back upside. Potentially, like you said, with JPAL coming in at 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 Central, I believe, this market might just chill and stick between this overnight high and overnight low. Yesterday, after I got off stream, that's when the market decided to make its moves. But I'm not FOMOing. But today I may stay on just a little bit longer just to get to see if that will play out today. And then if I can see what's going on, I am off today with work. So potentially see if I could get this back on at JPOW time. Kind of just have it up, have it live, and then kind of talk you through what he's kind of going over and maybe what it will present for the market moving forward. Tilt is getting up to that 70%. Yeah. No, so you said it was Wednesday, and then it wasn't on that chart at all, and all of a sudden I popped up, and it's here. So it appeared overnight. I don't know if it was like unscheduled or if you saw it, and then it wasn't on Trading Economics, but it appeared. You were right and wrong and right at the same time. I don't know how it ended up. I don't know how you talked it into existence there, because this was definitely not here yesterday, right? I'll go on to this. I'm going to go look at my recording, but that definitely wasn't on the screen. And then you were mentioning Wednesday, we were talking about Meister and Bowman and crude, and I did not see this. And it appeared this morning when I noticed it, and then somebody mentioned it in the Tradecaster as well, so they saw it. So it's not just you. I mean, maybe you're just seeing the future. So I don't know what you see the charts doing. Let me know, because that was definitely not there. So tell me what you see going on, and we'll get some trades going off of that. That was awesome. Yeah. It's really interesting that's how that ended up working out. If you do like the YouTube, if you like the Tradecaster, subscribe on Tradecaster, subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button, try and help build this community out a little bit. I'm just, I'm not trying to be the biggest influencer in the world, but I'm just trying to help the algo out so I could help a little more, keep some people company. Yeah, you're glitching the matrix, bro. I think maybe just, like I said, tell me which way we're going to go right now, and we'll see if we can capitalize on that. Where do you see markets in 30 minutes? That's really what I would like to know. longer term accumulation at that 830 level, previous day low level, this 30-minute candle is really pretty strong. If we get a close above 920, then I don't know if 18,000 does come into play today, or if we're just going to get another one of these. You did mention it, and that's right where we're at right now, right? 907 was that high. I feel like it just keeps us range bound, but also now that the S&Ps is trying to get above that VWAP, does it rotate from overnight low to overnight high? And does that make this overnight high become more of a breakout point? NVIDIA trying to approach that 877 level again. Microsoft broke above 416. I would love to see this thing give me the same setup, and I'll just short it. However, I did mention if we do get back here again, there's a chance that the third, 1, 2, 3, fourth time, it doesn't hold. Are we going to get volume? Tilt's not that heavy, so continuation could be plausible. Like a grind up, right? You get a higher low, breakout, base. Now you're at a high point. Could we just play that breakout and get ourselves one more shot at that above the 20 level? Just play it quick. I'm going to try it. We have 3 minutes till this candle closes, though. It's been wick. I'm going to let the 30-minute close. Got 3 minutes left on this candle, on the 30-minute. This just feels like it's pushing to try and push up further, especially with the S&Ps trying to hold above VWAP. It held this trend line a couple times. If we can get something like this, it would be nice to show myself that divergence. Normally, I mention, like I usually put in my my positions here. Yeah. $51.70. Yeah, it's possible, man. I want to see this 30-minute close up over here above 20. If the 30-minute can close above 20, then you can possibly look to see this thing go. If this 30-minute holds below that overnight high, you're just going to probably continue to see rotations. Microsoft peaked its head above 416.57, and it's kind of looking like it wants to get heavy and push back down below it. We got 1 minute left-ish in this candle. What's our delta looking like? Pretty decent, not really following through much. Did make a new high, just a tad, but didn't make a new high here. So we didn't make a new high in price, but we did just barely make a new high in delta. Price is trying to tick down, and delta is flat. Yeah, it's true. What's VIX at right now? It's on the bottom end. Well, it's actually kind of basing out. Still elevated, though. The VIX, the VVIX. The volatility of the volatility of the volatility. Microsoft looking to rotate that level. NVIDIA. I'm getting a little slow data connection currently, and I don't like when that happens to me. So I'm going to kind of just be pausing. I probably have an opportunity here at this high to fade it. I want to see a manipulation candle here. I want this to get here, get some shorts involved, wick them out above 20, and then fail the overnight low, overnight high. That's what I want to see. Get some shorts involved here, get them back above the overnight high, give me a little delta divergence, and then dump. But we might not have gotten it. We might have just accumulated and looking to sell. I'm not a huge, just overly trendline kind of guy, but I do like to see what happens through these levels. Just tuck them in tight and see what happens. It's a nice little pop down. Like I said, I want to see maybe we hold this, give another try to break through the high, fail that break, and then play the fade. That's really where I would like it. Microsoft gave that beautiful setup for a short there. So potentially a breakdown now from Microsoft gives you that push. We just need it closer to that overnight high. I needed that bounce. I needed that bounce. I needed that bounce. A crack in the S&P, though, could give us an opportunity. Based on its heaviness, if the S&P breaks here, then maybe we go and maybe short the ES instead of the NQ. Since we are below VWAP, breaking through levels could be a better trade. Overall, like I said, just I'm not finding like that A plus, gotta hammer it in right now. So I'm not gonna just do it just to do it. Do see a lower high here. Obviously, the overnight high held, but I do want to see some manipulation over the top of it before I think in getting into any shorts. If you get a really hard like melt from here, where you start to push down and push down and push down, I'm gonna say that previous day low cracks. I don't know if that's likely though right now. We are getting some size on the sell here, 890, a couple 20 lots, 893 10s. Now you get some buys at 900. There's some size being played around with here at that 900 level. So I'm going to just watch it and be mindful. With the S&P bouncing off this trend line, I think the NQ wants to go a little bit, but it's going to be dependent on that this ES right here. ES has kind of been leading the way. So I might watch that divergence. Russell's well above the opening range. The only thing that's below opening range is the S&Ps at that, our 1 minute opening range. That's crack. Microsoft, like I said, failed at 416.57, trying to hold below it. NVIDIA also made a lower high, trying to push down to make new lows. Lower lows on that. We'll see. And Apple basing out at that 169.90, 169.10. Just basing out here. If it cracks that low, I think we still continue downside for Apple. But it is only to 168 is that bottom end support. So I don't know how much further Apple has to go today, especially with that. Give me 1 second. Near market maker lows, triple divergence on hourly, a SPY, and opening range lows are holding. Yeah, the long idea is possible, especially if the S&Ps can get over that VWAP, because then it'll start to catch up, Just give me 1 minute. let's see. Is it going to crack this trend line or is it going to go? NVIDIA, Microsoft. Let's put Microsoft on top and put it on the 5 so I can see it. Alrighty. Microsoft, NVIDIA, everybody having the same setup here. And then Apple with that low base. And trying to hold. NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA is going to stay there. We get a crack in NVIDIA. Maybe this goes now. Something feels heavy here. It's Delta looking like another lower high in Delta, but you're still not getting like a heavy push down. It's kind of just sitting here flat. It's like it is a decision point. Hell yeah. Coffee is water. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, they don't have any control. It's just very digesting. Like I said, the title of my YouTube channel the day today is Big Melt Yesterday, Digestion Day Today. And I think that's kind of just where we're at right now. Will there be a move? Potentially, yes. There could be. Is it going to come right now? Right now, this does feel like it wants to get heavy through this trend line, but also at the same time, I mean, the S&Ps is wedging out through VWAP. If the S&Ps does crack lower, then this could crack. I don't know if it gets through VWAP, right? Faded that overnight high, potentially. I don't think anybody really has control. I think it's just a battle zone right now. If we get above the overnight highs and hold, then I think the bulls take over. I think even after he opens his mouth, you might, because he's so good at talking in circles, right? He does a really good job of saying something and then really kind of negating it the other way. If we pop this bull around, maybe the market will go bull higher. Yeah, he does a really good job of doing his job of just jawboning and chattering and just giving information without giving information. I think that's what he does. He really is a great politician in his career. He's done a really good job of learning his lesson on saying the wrong thing. And then when he says the wrong thing, the markets will react. But I think realistically, he's going to say inflation's still too high. Data numbers are showing that we are coming down, but the jobs market's still strong, and we don't want to cut rates too soon, but we don't want to cut them too late. And he says that every single time, right? Unless he comes out tomorrow or right now and says, "Yeah, we ain't cutting rates. We're gonna raise rates." So that's what's gonna move the market in any sort of real way. You might get like those algo whips, but I don't know if it's gonna manipulate the market enough to push it in a direction. Like I said, unless he says something outside the box egregious, right? Trading's all about timing, and right now it feels like a good time to do something, but also a good time to not stay out. I don't have a good flush of this. This volume is ticking up a little bit there, but nothing that's giving me the conviction to say, hey, this is a volume break of a trend line. We're pushing right into VWAP, so it's not like it's going to give me, if I would have shorted through 89 down to VWAP, yeah, I could have caught, a nice little move there, maybe 20 points, give or take. But that's not kind of what I'm looking for. It's not in my level. It seems like it's not going to give you a good follow through. It's still supported by this. I believe so too. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't keep them higher. I mean, inflation's ridiculous. They definitely see the real inflation numbers. We just see what they show us. They're probably being pressured by the administration currently to not cut. To cut. They're probably pushing really hard behind the scenes to cut rates, whichever way they go, just to boost the idea that the current administration is doing a good job, keep the market high, get them elected type deal. But I don't believe that that's what the Fed really wants to do. But they are, as much as they are supposed to be an independent body, they are not. If you believe that they are, then I've got bridges to sell you. This is just not something that I feel like is good trading, right? If you can know when to stay out and when to get in, then that's better off, right? If I end the day today down 79, I'm okay with it. Like there was an opportunity here. I took the long instead of the short, and didn't pay out. This isn't my normal short strategy, and on my thinking back on it, obviously hindsight 2020, thinking back on this execution here, we came off the low, we failed the low the third time that it's failed that area. We came above VWAP, held VWAP, then looked at breakthrough overnight. Something about this said you probably should buy the second round through it, and just didn't play out, right? So overall, my normal strategy, if this were to have played out a little bit differently, is to fade this to the other end. It didn't work out that way today. So I'm going to be interested on this if it gets through the high. If it holds above 20, then maybe we'll look to see if the longs are available. If it does not, if it fails it again, I may short the break of this. S&P's has a long way to go to get to the overnight high. Still waiting, still chilling. Not a ton going on for me. I would like this to get up over that overnight high so I can make a decision on if it's going to go long or short. People mentioning, we keep saying that Powell's going to talk at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern. My stream normally goes to 11. I may push it a little longer than 11 today. I want to see if this sets up. We're kind of getting close to that overnight high level, like we've been grinding a bit. So at some point, it's either going to break and give me some volume on the breakout, or it's going to fail a breakout and I can fade it, and I can at least catch, a couple $100 and be done. Get out of here. I'm not going to look for a home run anymore. Right, this trade right here was my shot at swinging for the fences. I shorted the 56th level, got a really nice follow through, and then I was like, I'm adding through my previous day low because I think with some good follow through, this volume was pushing down. Everything was adding up for a follow through to the overnight low. S&P's got to the overnight low, and if it would have cracked it, we would have continued on. But the S&P's decided to make a U-turn, bounce right back up, and pushed into the VWAP. So that's where I'm, kind of shot my shot. Now I'm going to just shoot for those singles with the one contract, see if I could get something to set up. That's more likely the better spot. Trend lines are adjustable. They have a life about them. The more touches, the better. You know, as they start to develop, you can move this thing around a bit. You are getting a lower high here. If you start to rotate down a little bit more, you might get a follow through. S&Ps, like I said, I could potentially look to short the S&Ps off of here because I feel like they've just been heavier today and they've had some follow through. I really wanted to see this up a bit higher, but it didn't go. JPOW in 90 minutes. Yeah, I think that's really like what's going on here. Really just a lot of flat action until JPOW opens his mouth. Everybody kind of sees it, and all the traders see it. I may hop off at 11 to kind of regroup. I'll leave my charts up, let everything kind of go, and then hop back on to see what happens when JPOW speaks around that 12:15 time, Central Time. I'll grab some food, hang out with the kid and the wife for a few minutes, and then get back to it. I'll open that in a new tab. See what decks pop in. Right. America's largest companies have given Wall Street reason for optimism in the early innings of new corporate earnings season. I kind of see some lack of optimism currently. Front run this. Long? You still think that long's coming in? I don't believe follow through happens. Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. You can go through. Hell yeah, I got you. Wanting that coffee. Hey, if you want it, head over to the website and use my code PolicingPips. You get a 15% off. Try it out. It'll get you going. Fuel your P&Ls. All I do is drink coffee all day, so I've become addicted as a young boy. My addiction story. My mom always drank coffee all the time. I always smelled it waking up in the morning. I think that became... You would need a coffee machine if you want to make coffee. That would be a thing. Whoa, what are you doing? Come on in. Come say hello. This is your time. This is the time you always come say hello. I want to see those glasses on the stream. Come on. Hello. Hey. Say hey, what's up? Say what's up. Say hi, everybody. You're too cool with those sunglasses on. That's what happened. I'm too cool for school here today, right? You don't even say anything. The glasses just turn your mouth off, huh? Nice. All right. I love you. Goodbye. Trade good. He's super cool. He's a cool man. And, oh yeah, he always looks good. And the curls. Hey. What's up? Whoa. That's pretty sweet. Come on in, Max. Come say hi, dude. There he is. He's back in action. Say, can I get some more water? Let me get some more water. I want this to push up over the overnight high. Oh, shoot. Did they text you?
Yeah.
What? Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen here. Give me a second.
You want me to give you my laptop?
No, I can do it here. You saying hi to everybody, Matt? I gotta do Enzo's school thing. I forgot what it was. Shoot. I was supposed to do that. Darn. Give me a second. Oh, yeah.
Did you already do it?
I thought I did it, but he must not have been on there. Skyward. CCISD. Got to get some money on this guy. Hell yeah, I would love for him to be a trader. That'd be great. I forgot to do something for my oldest. I need to give him, he's at $2. All right, add funds. He should be good. He should be good. They just texted just now? Okay. Yeah, he's good now. It should have 20 bucks on there. All right. Back in trade mode. Okay, there's that overnight high. Let's see if it holds it or if we're going to break back down below this trend line. I'm going to say that with this S&P's pushing up, Nvidia's a little bit lower than that the level that it wants to get to, that 877. Microsoft trying to push up. If it breaks above 417, we might hold. If not, we're going to look for that sell below 910. Excuse me. Based on today's price action, 5177, that's the 5. It's a little ways up there. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would make definitely a good fade there. There's no volume on this break. I'm going to give you a glimpse into anything is possible, that's for sure. Right off that VWAP, that upper VWAP band, I'm going to sell through here. If it decides to turn around on me and burn me through the high side, I'm okay with it. But the way that we're not getting a volume break above here, just something about it tells me that we want to take it a little bit sell side. Just a quick little grab. Nothing that's going to be like overwhelmingly like a heavy tilt, push to the downside. But I want to just capitalize on the opportunity I didn't take before, right? We're at the same level, same type of setup, hopefully comes into play. And then if we can get down below this 910, that's where I got stopped out before we end up melting off. So let's see. Maybe that's where we end up doing the same deal. Look, no volume. No volume. We just broke through a key overnight level. S&P's also just kind of creeping up, but hitting into some resistance there. I think that we could run this to the downside. Tilts at 63% long, not heavy. But we'll get Delta acting. Oh, there's a huge Delta push. You saw that big Delta rock right upside. So that might actually give us some continuation. So I'm going to be paused on that. If it fails that, then maybe we rotate down. But that Delta kind of gave me more confidence in that long. There's that long right up to that 30. God damn. So the idea of breakout above there. Now you see the volume tick up. We're going to cancel this order. And we're going to wait and see, right? If that volume was just going to fade out and then we're going to rotate, that would have been giving us a good short. Right now, we just ripped the top off of today. So we made new highs of the day. NVIDIA didn't follow through, and Microsoft made a new little high but didn't make new high of the day. So that is also something that I'm going to be mindful of. Markets are starting to peek their head up a little bit, give a little bit of a volume spike. From 19 to 30, I said up to 50 is probably in that, possibility. 49. If we crack 38, 49 comes in, that 50 comes in. If that's going to be a continuation, then we'll see. But if it's going to fail it, I want to watch the failure of the overnight high. Microsoft bidding up, NVIDIA holding. Let's see markets go full retail. That would be great for you. To think about that 77 fade. I think that overnight high gets faded too. That 51.20. 67% long tilt, not super heavy, right? Like I said, on the continuation plays, this doesn't get too heavy. So it is kind of not acting in a way that would lead you to believe that it could fade. It might continue on, right? Just based on that. And this beautiful delta breakout candle. That's some big time amount of contracts being executed at that level. High of day. Based on what we've been doing, though, we've been getting to levels and failing them. Getting to levels and failing them. If this is going to be another get to a level and fail it, failed breakout, if you fail through 10, this market's going to melt. I'm going to leave that there. Stop sell at 11. I want to see what that does. A failed breakout on that kind of volume, same thing that we had on the other side, could lead us to some pretty good selling, especially if we can crack through this trend line here. Yeah, you did. I'm just playing the fade to try and catch a quick little move and then be done. Nvidia looking heavy. Microsoft looks like if it can get through 416.57, then our short could come in here. And I do like it to be short through 11 here because that's the support there. I think we can get through that and maybe we can get down to VWAP. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's do it. We're going to go with the order fill, baby. And we always do that, so I'm on the wrong little thing here. I don't want to get run over. If it wants to melt off hard and fast, I'll take it. If it doesn't, if it wants to bounce from this trend line, then I'll be out. But I think if we can get that failure of that 11 level, could have faded the overnight high, but I thought maybe it was going to catch a bid there. Breakdown fast. Come on, baby. Policing the pips here, policing the ticks. Get me down all the way to VWAP real fast. Get heavy quick. I want to see it get heavy quick. We got the sirens running. We're running hot on this call here. Let's see if we can get down through and push. There's no break, no volume here. Let's see what the delta's looking like. It is a pretty nice little delta. It looks like it's acting in our favor here. So delta's acting in our favor. Are looking here to see if this crack of this trend line, this support level, will give us that good flush here. I'm going to give us one more quick tick down. Now we're break even, so now it's a free trade. Let's see what we can do here. Just past break even, I should say. Let's see if we can get this thing to run. Let's go, baby. Come on now. Give me that crack. Give me that crack down. We are back red to green on the day, so let's see if it'll go and push down even further, get heavy fast. I'm leaving the sirens running. Maybe they're good luck. Maybe people want to keep running from the cops here, policing your tips. Come on, now get me back to VWAP. Fail that overnight high. Get me all the way down to the overnight low. And on a melt. That would be great, right? The way I trail, it's unlikely. If we get to VWAP, I'm going to get really tight with it. So that's my my fade of the overnight high. Didn't play it the first time. Playing it the second time. Seeing if we can get this thing to run on us. Like I said, we went red to green on the day. I'll take it every day of the week. Give me that. This is a support level. That's why I'm tightening a little bit. There's a heavy fast trail, baby. Fast trail. Fast moves, fast trail for me. Come on now. Come on now. Push through that low. Realistically, it's heavy. It should just continue to melt off. However, I am quick with my trail. My stream is done at 11, and we're in a short currently. So we're going to go candle to candle here. 375. We're leaving the sirens running, baby. Leave the sirens running. Let's go. Come on now. Let's get it. Secured a nice red to green to a nice green. All it takes is one good trade a day to get you back into what you want to be. Come on now. Let's go. Flushing that VWAP. I said once I get close to VWAP, I'm going to be tight with it. A bounce off of there, and we're out. Woo! Let's go from down 79 up 5, 23.20 on the day. Goodbye, market. Market wins some days, market loses some days. It could rotate all the way down to the lows. I said if I get close to VWAP, that's my target. With one contract, I can't do what I do when I start to scale out. we just surpassed our $2,000 buffer. So now probably starting next week, next Monday, I'll start to do 2 contracts, start to scale in. But that's how you read a day, right? Let the day tell you what it's going to do. Let the day tell you what it's going to do. I think this still gives you a full rotation. So if you are holding and you're more a longer term trader, that gives yourself a little bit more room. You crack this. This gives you more confidence that these keeps going. Previous day low cracked. The sell is on. For me, I lost it. Let me get rid of that siren for you. I continue to do that. Sorry. Sorry about the sirens running a little longer, but that was a really good trade. Had to let the sirens keep running to make ourselves good. The only thing I could have thought possibly differently there, look, we drew this arrow here. We wanted to pay attention to this level. We got a break above it. You failed the overnight high. You failed this breakdown. Just let that shit play out and get that money. I trailed to VWAP. Realistically, I'm going to tell you, if this doesn't just melt off here, you probably pop up to where I got stopped out anyway. So I'm not going to be upset with it. I was going to trail to VWAP pretty much spot on, and that was going to be my stop for the rest of the day. If we rolled all the way over to the bottom, then it is what it is. Hopefully you were able to catch that trade with me. If you were able to see what I was seeing, talk through what I was talking through. I was talking to Breaking My Balls Bro on YouTube, and he was mentioning how that breakout looked like it was kind of coming in, and then I was mentioning that I was looking for the short. So, I mean, realistically, you could make money on both ends. However, you got to be cautious on days like today. We've been talking about that J Powell is coming in. We got a failed breakdown of a low, got a failed breakout of a high. After a huge rundown, the only thing you could really anticipate is some sort of breather day. And if this is going to play that breather day, that's going to fail. A+ setup, take your A+ setups every single time, and they'll wipe out your losses. So overall, very happy with the week so far. And guess what we're going to do with this account? We're going to go ahead and hit that lockout button. Manual lockout. Yes, lock me out. This account has been manually locked out. Trading is no longer available till the next market open come 5 p.m. Central. We're done with that account. Call it a day. We took a couple extra trades that we normally would have, not that we wouldn't have taken them, but we executed more today than we have in other days. But it paid off because we were patient. We waited for our levels, and it worked out. Thank you. Thank you, Breaking My Balls. I appreciate the catch on the trade. Like I mentioned, I can't be mad if this continues down all the way to the overnight low, right? Realistically, with one contract on the NASDAQ, the way it's been supported all day, you've gotten lack of follow through. The chances of this bouncing off a VWAP and retracing, when I'm already looking to go red to green, looking to secure this, my goal, my target was VWAP. With one contract, you could only do so much with your trailing stops, and you just got to be okay with what you do. And then the rest of the move happens. I'm not here. I told you before, after I executed this and I was down a little bit and I missed on that and I got close to break even, I said, I'm going to shoot for a base hit, shoot for a double in the gap, shoot for a base hit. I'm not shooting for a home run anymore. So I'm going to be tight with my trails. I'm going to secure it. And the good luck cool guy came in and he brought in the good luck. And that's what happens when you bring your little guy with the cool glasses in for the final trade of the day, right? You say good trade?
Good trade, guys.
Good trade, guys. Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about.
I want to get out of here.
Oh, you want to get out of here?
That's red and green.
That's red and green. That's what the candles do. They go red and green and red and green. You're going to learn, okay?
Red and red.
So by the time you're 4, you'll be profitable. That's right. Let's do it.
Learn?
Yeah, you can learn.
I can learn to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, you can learn to trade in the office. I'll see you in a little bit, buddy. This is the beautiful thing about trading.
Daddy, we take your bunny
Talking on the stream. What?
We take your bunny outfit so we can put it in the garage for later.
Oh, for next year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
For Easter bunny.
Give me a pound.
And not
Oh,
today.
yeah.
Then for tomorrow.
All right, cool. All right, well, for me, I'm locked out. I did my duties as a trader, came in here, stayed on from 8:30 till 11. My stream is every day, 8:30 to 11 on Tradecaster, also on YouTube. if you're on YouTube, head over to Tradecaster. Click over there. Try your free trial. Because when you hop off of my stream here at 11, you could definitely hop in to some of these other streams. Huh?
Good trading and
How about we have lunch? You want to have lunch together?
yeah.
Yes? Okay. Say bye to everybody then.
Bye.
Okay. Go tell Mom you're going to have lunch, and then I'm going to finish up, and I'll be there. So there's that VWAP bounce, and I would have been stopped out in the same place I would have stopped out at. So overall, take the money and run, baby. Take the money and run. Like I said, the good thing about trading, streaming, is you get to get different viewpoints. I've been having great conversation with Mr. Breaking My Balls, bro, on YouTube, who's been providing really good insight as far as levels are concerned. And I like to tell people about my levels, but I also like to hear about what your levels are and what you're looking at and which way you think things are going, and based on some actual quality information.
Now.
Oh, Mommy's got to leave now. So me and you will do lunch.
No, I'm gonna go too.
No, you can't go. I'm going to go.
No, I'm gonna go.
Can we all go?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. We're all going to go. All right. So, like I said, tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central. Be careful of Jerome Powell talking. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on. As you can say, this guy wants to say goodbye. So, say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
You already say goodbye. I have to finish saying goodbye.
You go. Say goodbye.
You say goodbye. All
You
right.
say goodbye.
All right. This is why we trade, right? So we could spend some more time with our families. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I appreciate everybody coming by, having good conversation. Come back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern, whatever time that is for you. Market open. I'll be here. When we'll trade, we'll make some money, and we'll have some good conversation. I'm sure Max will stop in and say what's up. So, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, do the same thing over on Tradecaster. Give me some ratings. I'm gonna take the sandals. Give me the sandals. And then also head over to the daytradingcoffeeco.com. Use code PleasingPips. Get yourself 15% off everything we got there. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Okay.
This is for the beach, and that's this for a home.
Okay, so then get me socks. Go get me socks then. Goodbye. All right, guys. Like I said, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Go check out the other streamers on Tradecaster. I'll see you guys all later. Until then, stay profitable.